Blood In, Blood Out, also known as Bound by Honor, is a 1993 film which is all about Hispanic gangs. Now, the movie is over 3 hours long, and what it ultimately strives for is to be the biggest, be-all-end-all, definitive movie about Hispanic gangs. Like, is it as good as, say, A Boys in the Hood, or Goodfellas, or City of God? No, definitely not. Well, maybe that's just a very, very unfair comparing it to those things, but I do think that this movie has some flaws that really prevent it from really achieving the very high standard, because the movie does have excellent reach. And the fact that it strives to really be the definitive Hispanic gangland film, like, you know, I liked the fact that it was striving for that. I don't think that director Taylor Hackford and company ended up really succeeding at the extent that they wanted to, but I do think that there is quite a lot of good that this movie has to offer. Some bad, some things that are good that should have been great, but all in all, it's a good film. And it takes place in Los Angeles, and there's this family where the movie takes place in some Los Angeles ghettos, where this family is being torn apart by some of them hooking up with rival gangs. They really try to be loyal to themselves, like the people in their family, but also to their friends. But, you know, after some time of drugs and violence and rough feuds and prison sentences, you can't help but wonder, you know, when's it all going to stop? When will some of these people just get out of the criminal life and go straight? Because it's just not worth it. One of the big flaws with this film, actually probably the biggest flaw, is that it's over 3 hours long, which is usually fine, but it did not need to be this long at all. Sometimes films suffer due to its length, and with this one, one of the reasons why this movie suffers so much because of its length is when the movie opens, the first little bit, we're introduced to this family, and then eventually when we get to the prison stretch of the film, we're introduced to all these others, and the movie trying to juggle all of these characters. I don't think that it does a good job in doing so, if I'm being totally honest. Now, don't get me wrong, lots of movies juggle tons of characters really, really well. Like, the same year, Robert Altman did Shortcuts, another Los Angeles film. Tons of characters, absolutely amazing. But Taylor Hackford, who directed this one, is not as good of a filmmaker as Robert Altman. So there was so many characters in this film that they really tried to zero in on and really develop as much as the core family members, that it just did not need to happen. The loss of focus, it was a blow. I understand them wanting to flesh out some of these side characters, but I just think that Taylor Hackford went a little too far the other way. If we would have kept more focus on the family members alone, then this 190-minute movie would have been shrunk to maybe 2 hours, and the movie would have been much better. You know, what we get instead is an overly ambitious film that is still pretty effective, still has some good acting. There's some performances that simply don't complement the movie's magnitude, but whatever. That's not enough for me to really trash this film by any means. There's enough effective moments here to recommend, and the acting, some of the suspenseful moments. Again, I thought that there was quite a bit of those, and easy to recommend. Do I think that this movie is totally amazing like it really could have and should have been? Definitely not. Maybe you watching will react much stronger than I did, and that's great. Because some people will love things, some people will hate things. I personally really like this film, didn't love it. So I want to give Blood In, Blood Out, or Bound by Honor from 1993, 3 stars out of 4.